So it says here, the rise of number of children needing help for serious mental health problems, the NHS data shows. It says it's massively on the up. But are you surprised? They've had 2 years of lockdowns to deal with, isolation to deal with. Depending on their vaccination status, they've had persecution. Also, depending on their political beliefs, they've had persecution. Then you've told them that they can be anything they want to be, even though that's not actually an option. You also tell them that what they see with their eyes isn't true and not to believe it. What they hear with their ears isn't right or not to be believed. And you also tell them that depending on their gender or their skin colour, that they're actually guilty of a heinous crime that they have no part to play in and were never guilty of in the first place. What do you expect is going to happen? So let's have a little read of this. Rising number of children needing help for serious mental health problems, the NHS data shows. The data reveals that 39% rise in referrals this year to the NHS mental health for treatment for under 18s. So it's to more than 1,169,515. Which camera are we at? That one. Sorry, I'll get the hang of this one day. There has been a huge increase in the number of children requiring treatment for serious mental health problems, including eating disorders. But I've already talked about this. TikTok, right, which is one of the main platforms that kids go on, is pushing self-harm, is pushing eating disorders, is pushing bulimia, is pushing suffering. What would you expect when they're bombarded from everything they see, from whether it's EastEnders on TV or whether it's Netflix telling them that they're wrong, or whether you've got TikTok telling them to starve themselves and while they're there they'll harm themselves as well? Would you expect these kids? And then you've got teachers absolutely capitalising on the fact that they can now teach them some of the most degenerate things in the world and rewrite history to make them good criminals. They were literally criminals before they were born. It's just unbelievable. It gives you a comparison. The figure was 839,570 in 2021. That's still a lot, by the way. And we're actually teaching kids to have mental health problems, all right? We're weakening them. We're telling them that the day-to-day things that most kids just got over in the old days, and because we weren't taught to regurgitate it and feel the victim, we just got on with life. I mean, yeah, life's hard. That's the way it is. But the way they're teaching these kids at the moment, they're teaching them not to deal with this. They're teaching them to be a victim. Victim status is the way forward. It makes you special. Go and get yourself an ism or a chasm or whatever it is, and then you could join the club. But then also, don't forget to wallow in your own self-misery and pity and importance, right? And feel that you're the only special soldier out. It is literally a highway to bloody suicide. It says the England-wide data includes children who are suicidal, self-harming, suffering serious depression or anxiety, and have eating disorders. I have never known a generation more prone to this. I had to coax a mate's friend out of it, a mate's son out of it. My own daughter has suffered with it. I mean, they literally drum into you that everything's bloody bad at the moment and that you should all feel that they just poison these kids' head. They don't stand a chance. And it's getting worse. And these teachers feel like they're patting themselves on the back, instilling this wokery and mental health problems on these kids. The best thing that could ever happen to these kids would be national service to toughen them up. Oh, a few of them might not make it, but geez, they don't stand a chance. Here we go, data shows hospital admissions for eating disorders and rising among children and young people. There were 7,719 admissions in 2021. Among under 18s, up from 6,079 the previous year and 4,232 the year before that, which is an 82% rise across 2 years. Well, that's something to be over flipping joyed about then, isn't it? My God. And I have to say, the step up is not just for, I'll show you the graph. You have a look there. So it's under 18s which are going up drastically, but all ages literally are going up. Because the last 2 years of isolation and etc., has taken its toll on people. The constant feel of doom, the fear-mongering within the press and the media, even the weather. Oh, terrible weather coming, batten down the hatches, is all going to be awful. This was standard. This is just weather. And when you go to the news is contrived. What about putting out some good news out there? There is a lot of good news out there, but you won't do it because you want to control people with fear and misery. Talk about 1984. Anyway, it goes on and it just tells you what you already expect. Admissions are up, misery is up, self-harm, other disorders are up. God only knows. And what way? This is the thing. I mean, what way do you find a way out of this? Well, you actually have to tell people to man up. I know that's an evil thought, but literally man up. There's people at the moment that are dying of starvation in the world. There's people out in the third world that their crops might not come in this year, and if they don't, they starve. I mean, there's people at the moment drawing their last breath through cancer. You have to understand that even in the most difficult and miserable situation, you can still find happiness if you've got the right mindset. Case in point, when I was in prison, we looked forward to Saturday night. We made a massive deal about it. I talked about it in another video, but you could actually make a half about situation in a gloomy spot if you've got the right mindset. I mean, there were people in the First World War in the trenches that were more upbeat than these kids that were facing certain death. We've groomed them. We've changed their mindset to be utter weak. And that in itself is a crime. I do hope that the can't ask the legal system to do this, but years in front, when all the system starts to collapse, I do hope a load of these teachers who are guilty of some of the most heinous crimes are brought to some sort of justice, because what they've done is evil. No, we're for it. But it isn't just the teaching system. The church is doing it. And as I say, the media are doing it. And just about everything they get near. And then they go to a doctor. And the doctor's all too quick to put them on antidepressants because that's what they're instructed to do. I have to say, I did 18 years on antidepressants, and they were the worst 18 years of my life. And I've actually been able to regulate myself far better, personally. Not saying for anybody to come off antidepressants. Not one way. You do you, I'll do me. What I'm saying, me personally, my ups and downs were worse on them. And the downs were horrible, black, very black. But if I'd have listened to the doctor, they'd have just gone along. They'd have they'd chuck those tablets at me till the cows come home. And if I'd have come up with a few more ailments, there, feel sorry for yourself, take this. It's not the way forward. Anyway, don't forget, we've put videos out on all the other platforms. The links are in the description to the other platforms. So this is the Reverend Simon Sideways. We put it out on Simon Evans, and we put it out on Rev on the Rant. Go and look at the live stream I did earlier on, which will explain about the situation that we're finding ourselves in on YouTube. And also, if you want to support the channel, the links are in the description. Thanks very much. I'll see you in a bit.